Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to part two of What You're Missing, where I talk about the games that I played last week. Now, last week was a little special because I've been shedding games as I played and beat them, but so the list is short, but I've got a lot to say about each of them, more than just that I'm wearing hammer pants. Um, Although I still think I'm wearing those pants, so you take what you can get, right? So Diablo 3 was definitely on the list. I've been playing a lot of Diablo 3, and I think in part because it's one of those games that you can play and pay like half attention to. So those of you who've seen my gaming setup, I've got the monitor here and I've got the TV here. So I can pretty easily play and click and click, 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 click and do what I need to do there and still kind of keep track of what's going on TV over there. So it's a good watching TV and gaming joint tool game thing. So I can run around in here and still pay attention to, and I'm ashamed to admit I've been catching up on Grey's Anatomy. I know it's like an evening soap opera, but what can I say? But I'm all caught up now, I think. The 24th episode. Yeah, so I think I'm all caught up, and I got a lot of TV watching done last week. Like a whole lot. I applied to a bunch of jobs, but a lot of TV. Um, But anyway, Diablo 3. So they've got this thing where for last week up through, I think, Thursday of next week, because it's their 2-year anniversary of having Diablo 3 out on the market, they've doubled the drop rate of legendary items. So I'm on my wizard a lot of the time, just, I don't want to say farming, but I'm farming. I'm doing rifts and bounties, and I'm trying to get my guy totally outfitted in the way that I'd like. So I've learned a lot this week. I actually asked, so there's like 6 levels of difficulty. 10, like once you, well, all right, there's like 10 levels of difficulty. And so you start on like the second or third because it's, the first one's really overly easy. So it goes normal, let's see, normal, hard, expert, master, and then tempest. And I think you have to be level 60 or higher, and you max out at 70. But you have to be level 60 or higher in order to open up the tempest difficulties. So each level of difficulty increases the drop rate, increases the experience gain rate, and all of that. So yeah, so I've been playing on Tempest 2, and I stopped to ask some people that I was, just random people that I had grouped with, like whether there was a set, like you have to have X number of Paragon levels. Like once you hit level 70, your experience starts going to this like secondary leveling type, and they're called Paragon levels, and each level you get a point to spend on like a little bit extra intelligence or your critical hit rate or whatever. There's a lot of different things. So I'm level like 52 now, I think, above and beyond level 70. And so the guys that I was finding in my groups were like levels 2 to 300 above and beyond 70, which is like a lot of commitment and a lot of time spent. And so I was asking, hey, like, am I a liability if I show up to these higher level difficulties like Tempest 3, 4, or 5, or 6 with just my peeny 30 to 40 or 50 now in this case Paragon points? And the guy flat out said, yeah, you are. But then he had like 300, and he says, I always play on Tempest 2 because it's just easier and, it's more fun and quicker. So I sat and talked to him for a while, and he really helped me out with my build and how my mage or my wizard does stuff. So that was really helpful. I found a new friend. I think I'll probably try to play with him again in the future. See, this could be you. You could be playing with me, and I could be having these conversations with you. And then we could be fast friends and going and killing, the minions of hell together. That could be us. That could be us, but you play it. That's all I'm saying. So the other game that I played was WildStar. Now, I'm actually pretty excited about WildStar, and even it's in beta right now, and unfortunately by the time you read this, it's going to be out of beta, but it will be released at the beginning of June, I think June 6th. But if you pre-order it, you get access 3 days early, which, it's not a big thing, but it allows you to get your name reserved before everybody else. So that works, and that's always good. Um, But I've been really reluctant to play WildStar very much because at the end of beta they wipe the game, and I don't want to have put in a bunch of time on something and burn myself out on a game that it's all that progress is going to be lost anyway. So yeah, so I played a little bit of WildStar grudgingly. I think I'm really in need of an MMO right now to put time into, because that's kind of what Diablo has been doing for me. Is that you reach max level in these MMOs, and that's when the game basically starts. The whole leveling process, for the most part, in massively multiplayer online games, which is what MMO stands for, is basically teaching you how to play. So it may be hundreds of hours of you learning how to play, and it's not just like learning that this button makes you jump and this button attacks. No, it's far more complicated than that. It's by the time you reach max level, you will probably have figured out what stats do what for your character. You figured out a rotation of abilities to use that maximizes your efficiency and your use of your limited resources. You've learned how to survive better. You've learned when you jump off of tall objects, which ones will kill you and which ones will just damage you. You've probably learned that leaping into water from as high as you want will not hurt you at all, so you always want to aim for water, at least that's deep enough to submerge in. Ankle deep or knee deep water will kill you. Almost all games. I'm just warning you, no matter how short you are, it'll kill you. So MMOs, you spend most of your time at max level exploring what the game has to offer as far as end game. So WildStar is probably no different than that. And so I don't want to waste, I want to be interested in the leveling process enough that I don't get bored while doing it. So I'm sort of I definitely have refrained from playing the class that I'm pretty sure I'm going to play, which is the Stalker. And I don't want to do too much of the beginner levels, because every time you start a new character, you have to go through the same areas, and it gets really, really boring very quickly. So I'm avoiding that, although I didn't avoid it completely. So I played that for a few hours this week. It's actually a really good game. I've played the Spellslinger and the Esper quite a bit. And the Esper, interestingly, is kind of the Enchanter or the Psionic, but it plays similar to the way rogues played in World of Warcraft. Now, there aren't like combo points, but you have psionic points, and you can use those points to use finisher abilities. I don't know. It's a very similar mechanic. So it'll be interesting to see how the Stalker, which is kind of the rogue class, which is almost always what I play, it'll be interesting to see how that works. Anyway, that's a lot of esoteric stuff about massively multiplayer online games. So, yeah, so I think that's it for this week, and I'm thinking that Diablo may be a good new-to-gaming game. So maybe I'll do something on that this week. We'll see how much time I have between watching Ella, the puppy, and she's starting to stir, so I think I'm going to have to wrap this up. But between all the stuff that I've got going on, the new-to-gaming thing has fallen through the cracks repeatedly. So I apologize, but we'll get to that soon. All right? So thanks for tuning in, and look for Let's Plays throughout the week for your entertainment needs. All right. Have a good week.